Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining today's training, Business at the Speed of AI, Administrative Productivity. I'm Rebecca Chauncey, Interim Director for the Illinois Small Business Development Center, or SBDC at Bill Bronzeville. It's such a pleasure to connect with you today. This training is brought to you at no cost because it's funded in part through a cooperative agreement with the United States Small Business Administration, or the USSBA, as well as the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity and the Urban Juncture Foundation. Just one quick housekeeping note that if you have questions today, you should type them in the Q&A section, not the chat. If you hover over the bottom of your screen, you'll see Q&A, and I will address questions if relevant in the moment, but also there will be time at the end of the training for Q&A. And I see more people joining in. Fantastic. Well, without further ado, we'll move right into today's topic. And what are we focusing on exactly? First, we want to address important definitions. Yes, artificial intelligence, or AI, has been a topic of discussion for quite some time now, and I would submit that it's gaining popularity. But there also is still value in understanding some important terms and making sure we're on the same page. The second thing we'll talk about are some tools for your consideration, specifically as we think about how you can be more productive rather with your administrative activities using AI tools. Third, I will share a helpful checklist if you had the opportunity to. In that last reminder that you received about today's training, I attached the document that I will refer to, that's that helpful checklist, and we'll talk more about that later. And then, as I mentioned, we will have Q&A. So know that today's training is the first of three that will occur between now and April in this series called Business at the Speed of AI. So, as I said, we'll start with some important definitions. First, understand that artificial intelligence, or AI, ultimately means computer programs that can complete cognitive tasks typically associated with human intelligence. When we think of an AI tool, that's an AI-powered software that can automate or assist users with a variety of tasks. That can include ChatGPT and Claude. Raise your hand if you have heard of either ChatGPT or Claude. Okay, look, all right, lots of people have. Fantastic. Thank you. Yes, so you're very much aware. And I hit sorry about that. So those are a couple of examples of AI tools, but there are others. Also, two more important definitions for us to embrace and really hone in on today. Generative AI, also known as Gen AI, is AI that can generate, hence the name, new content like text, images, or other media. And then this human in the loop approach, I would say this may be one of the most uh, important definitions that you keep in mind today and in general. So the human in the loop approach has to do with a combination of machine and human intelligence to train, use, verify, and refine AI models. I put the verify in bold because you are the most important part of AI working well. Why? Because you have intelligence, right? And you can verify the outputs that you get when using these AI tools. Because for some of you who have already experienced the a number of AI tools, you have probably found that there are times when your output is not correct, right? There's something off. And that's why it's so key for you to embrace this human in the loop approach. Remember that you're knowledgeable, right? And you are also, you have skills and are intuitive, and you have the ability to confirm whether or not what AI may produce is correct. So always keep that in mind. Some of the outputs that you get from AI isn't necessarily correct, and that's where you really need to make sure you check things, right? So the first thing that we're going to talk about as far as you doing business at the speed of AI, and specifically as it relates to your administrative productivity, has to do with scheduling. As a busy entrepreneur, I know you know better than most the many things, the tasks, the people that you have to communicate with. And that's why it's so key to be able to schedule your time wisely and efficiently. So use AI powered tools to automate your appointment scheduling and reminders. Consider using Calendly.com and Gemini, which I'll talk more about Gemini in a bit. But first, as far as Calendly is concerned, I bet a number of you have seen it. Whether you've used it or not, it's a different story, but I sense that many of you are aware. Know that a few of the benefits of it include automated scheduling, right? It allows users to set their availability and share a booking link instead of you having to go back and forth in email to schedule times with people. Guests also get to select from the available slots without manual coordination. And then it reduces the scheduling delays and eliminates redundant communication. Another thing that's great about Calendly is that there's calendar integration. It syncs with Google, Outlook, Office 365, and iCloud calendars. It prevents double booking by updating availability in real time, and it ensures accurate scheduling across different platforms. And then lastly, there's time zone detection, and ultimately that just means that that Calendly will automatically adjust meeting times based on participants' locations. So if I don't know if you're in this position yet, but you may be in this position at some point in your business, it can help you to prevent scheduling conflicts for your remote and global teams. So that's something to keep in mind. And then as we move on, as you consider Gemini, that's for Google Workspace users. Here at our office, we use Google Workspace, and I know a number of clients at our center do the same. And so I really wanted to emphasize how you can make that work for you. First, understand that when using the Google AI tool, right, Gemini, it's a part of your Google Workspace account, or you may need to invest in an AI premium plan for a personal Google account. But right now, I'm going to show you what it looks like when you use Gemini for your Google Workspace account. So we're specifically going to we're going to look at scheduling a meeting. And what we'll do is you see that I'm in the inbox, right? For my email. Look for this star. You see the star, it says Ask Gemini, right? So that's the AI tool. You click on that, and I should actually, as you can see, I had tested, I had to prepare for today, right? So wanted to make sure, let's see here. Bear with me just a moment. All right. So what happens again, when you click on that star, you see it says Ask Gemini, and then it will say, hello, whatever your company name is, how can I help you today? And so you want to be very clear about how you prompt AI. And so I'm going to type schedule, see, a meeting with, we'll just say, we're going to call this person Sharon. Every Tuesday in March 2025 from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And watch what happens. So it takes a second or seconds, right? And you see it says, all right, I'm putting this reoccurring event on your calendar. By the way, you can add other people to the event in the calendar app. So then I will click right here. The first Tuesday in March is March 4th. And you see all of the meetings are listed with Sharon. What's interesting is, so, if you're going to need to add Sharon's email address, right? For the sake of our session, I'm just going to plug in my email address. And so you add that, and then if needed, you could also add whatever notes here quickly. But then you click save and say all events. So you go through there, hit send, it's okay, it's outside of the system, and then you're done. Instead of you having to go through this one by one, you've knocked it out in a matter of what? A minute. So certainly saving you time. So again, that is what you want to consider when you look at scheduling your time, your meetings, specifically for those of you that use Google Workspace. There's Gemini. The second thing, and excuse me, we have some people that joined us after I made the initial announcement. Please note that if you have questions today, you should type them in the Q&A section, and then I will address them in real time or at the end of the training when we will have Q&A. So we just talked about the first administrative task that an AI tool can help you with, which is scheduling. The next one we want to take a look at is document management and email review. And so you can implement AI for scanning and retrieving files efficiently, as well as to summarize emails. I don't know about you, but you probably have thousands, if not hundreds, maybe not thousands, right? That's a bit much, but some of you might have thousands of emails in your inbox and it just becomes overwhelming, but many of you may just have hundreds. So consider using Microsoft Copilot or once again, Google's Gemini to help you with those tasks. We're going to, as you could probably imagine, we're going to look specifically right now at how you can use Google Gemini because again, I know a number of clients who use Google as their Google Workspace for their business. And so I want you to see what that really looks like. Where once again, we'll go back to the email inbox, right? And in that, there's lots of emails and you just sometimes don't have the time to go through all of them. So what you can do is let's say I'm going to choose an email. Let's see. I want to give you a good example. Okay, so here, this is a newsletter. Now, some newsletters, I'll give it to some organizations like ours. We're pretty concise because we understand that entrepreneurs like you don't have a lot of time, right? And we want to give you the information quick and, easily for you to quick and concise. But even still, sometimes you don't have, or it's helpful for you not to have to spend as much time to read through newsletters, for example. So once again, you have Gemini assisting you. There's that star, right? Summarize this email. Instead of you having to read through all of this, you click here to summarize this email. You look over to your right, and what do you end up seeing? There's a very concise, right? Now, again, you can see there's a number of features in this newsletter, but thanks to Gemini, this AI tool that you can use as a part of Google's workspace, you can see just a brief description of what this email is about. It's basically sharing new resources to help small businesses recruit, hire, retain, and advance employees with disabilities. They also share new webinar recordings and training opportunities. Well, you may say that's okay, but I like to get a little more insight. Well, you can do that as well. What do you see here? Show me a longer summary. And so when you click that button, you give it a second. It's still a lot, it's still going to take less time than if you were to read through everything that was in the newsletter. And then you start to see, you get a little more information, right? There's the breaking down of what that toolkit looks like as far as how that toolkit helps the small businesses. And then you get more of a description about the webinar recordings that are offered by this organization and some other information. So this once again can help you to save time. Again, I did that in a matter of seconds, right? It didn't even take a full minute for Gemini to process all of the details that were in this newsletter for me to then read. And, you certainly want to, or you could use that, consider using that as you make the most of your time and move through administrative tasks specifically related to your email review. And while we're want to be respectful of time, we won't go into document management as much, but that's something that you can talk to us about in a one-on-one advising session, which I'll talk to you in a little bit about how you can schedule those for those who may not be aware. So let's take on our next administrative task and how AI can help you. This, as I see some of you are already taking notes with an AI tool, a note-taking AI tool. So bravo to you that are already doing that. Uh, in our case, I want you to consider using AI to help you take notes in your virtual meetings, like today's training. You can consider using Otter.ai or once again Google Gemini. And we'll work with Google Gemini now. Let's go back to our earlier example of that meeting with Sharon. Okay, let's say that we're meeting Sharon, and you certainly I recommend that you still take notes on your own. Well, you get to see me for a second. I recommend that you still take your own notes, right? You can type notes, but once again, you have that beautiful star there with a pen, and that's where you'll see take notes with Gemini. It's already checked that you will transcribe the meeting. You could also record the meeting, but we're just going to emphasize the note taking or transcription ability right now. And so you simply click start taking notes. And then as you're talking, whatever is being said in the meeting, the notes are going to be transcribed, right? And after a matter of, I would say within 5 to 10 minutes, you'll end up getting an email. I'm going to stop this now. But you'll end up getting an email. I did this earlier, just for the sake of time in this presentation. It will take you about, like I said, 5 to 10 minutes. You'll get an email from Gemini that says notes, meeting with Sharon, right? With the date. And as it says, though, notes contain a summary and detailed recap, a transcript, and recording, if any, right? We didn't record it. We just did the transcription. So first, you get to look at the notes that were taken by Gemini. So here, it is essentially a summary of what was discussed in the meeting, right? The SBDC Bill Bronzeville meeting emphasized the critical need for participants to take their own notes, supplementing Gemini's transcription to mitigate potential misinterpretations arising from speech nuances. The meeting established human in the loop approach, right, as key vocabulary. That is one of the one of the definitions we talked about earlier, right? Because again, the way we enunciate some words may be transcribe, it may not be transcribed correctly. And so you just want to make sure everything that you discussed is correct, right? So you supplement what Gemini has with what you note. And then, so that's the summary, right? That you get an email with this. And then there's also the actual transcription, like word for word. And so that's listed in a separate document, right? And you can see that here. So between the two, that the transcription and that summary, you have a great way of having notes for your meetings. Again, you use that human in the loop approach and verify that what was discussed is exactly what you want to keep track of or maintain notes for, and update it where needed. Any questions about those points? Let me see. We're going to get to Q&A in a bit, but so again, consider using Otter.ai or Google Gemini for your note taking. That certainly is an administrative task that you can benefit from doing and using it more efficiently in your business. And then the helpful checklist. So the checklist that I sent in the final reminder, it's the Business at the Speed of AI checklist. Ultimately, as it says, AI tools and solutions can significantly streamline your operations, improve customer experiences, and save time for small business owners. So today, we just emphasized a few ways that could be done to help you to address administrative tasks when it comes to scheduling, document management, and email sorting, right? Not only can you use AI to categorize and prioritize emails, because you already see the categorizing when, for those of you that, I can't speak to all email platforms, but certainly if you are using Google, your Gmail accounts, you see how there's your main inbox, promotions, right? And then there's a junk folder. So it's already AI is already activated so that your messages, your emails are categorized, but then you could take it a step further, as we went over, and summarize your emails to help you to know, okay, this is what this is about briefly. I'll revisit this later, or it's okay, to continue reading because that email may have something to do with a matter you're addressing in the moment. But the checklist, while we specifically talked about administrative tasks today, and hopefully you noted the tools that I shared in the moment in today's training, remember that this is the first of 3 AI related trainings that we'll have within the next few months. So the checklist you'll be able to reference the checklist in the next session and the one that follows that, and you can make the appropriate notes and etc. Let's see, I have some questions here. Let me address those. So thank you. The first question is, will I share the recording? Yes, you will receive the recording of today's session. It will come with a request to complete a survey. We love to get your feedback about training so that we can provide training that is relevant and helpful to you and your business success. I also have a question. Is Otter AI free? Also, is Google Gemini recording function included with Google? So the first question, Otter AI, like most of these AI tools that I've shared, have a free option, but oftentimes the free option is limited. So just be mindful of that. To answer your second question about Google Gemini recording function being included, yes, it is included with your Google account. And I think that maybe what you're speaking to, as you saw that the option was there. I just chose not to record that particular meeting, right? Because I was just giving you all an example. And So, okay, and then the last question I have, how do you get Google Gemini to show up in your Gmail account? So if you have, again, if you have the Google Workspace account, it is, let's see here. If you have the Google Workspace account, it's automatic. Gemini will, you'll see it at the top of your inbox, right? And so just look for that star, Ask Gemini. You click on that and you can go from there. Thank you so much for those questions. And then I think there's another one. So the question was, can I send the link to the rest of the sessions? I certainly will once they're set. Those are the one that will take place in March and then the one in April. They are not set yet, but as soon as because you're a part of our mailing list, our email list now, once those trainings are available, just stay tuned for that information. You'll be able to click on the link and register. So, as far as, and then lastly, how do you establish a Google Workspace account? I would go to google.com and then just follow the process to, you could even Google, right? Set up a Google Workspace account and then you can follow the steps to do just that. So thank you all for the questions. And if you want to contact us, as I mentioned, for advising sessions, if you're not already a client, you can become one via the same system where you signed up for today's training, right? You can request to become a client that way. And you also could you can email us or you can visit our website at buildbronzeville.com/SBDC. Follow the prompts and make sure you choose Build Bronzeville for your center. And then within 5 business days, we'll reach out to you to schedule an advising session. And specifically, so yes, you can talk to us about your specific needs related to using AI tools for your business to make your business more efficient. But we also talk to clients about a number of things such as their business plans, we share professional service provider recommendations, like for accountants and attorneys, and just to name a couple of things that we work with clients on. So feel free to reach out to us. And are there any final questions before we go for the day? Remember to, if you didn't have a chance yet, look at that helpful checklist that's related to how you can use AI to make your business more efficient. Keep that checklist in mind, whether you are only attending today's training or if you're going to participate in the upcoming Business at the Speed of AI trainings, because I will reference that checklist in those sessions as well. And that's where you can add the additional notes about the specific websites and tips that I share in the actual training. Well, I don't see additional questions, so I thank you all for your time and attention. Again, stay tuned for the follow-up email with the survey request for you to complete that, as well as the link to the recording for the session. Continue to have a great day and week, and here's to doing business at the speed of AI while remembering what? The human in the loop approach, because you have power too, and you have to remember to verify what you receive and what AI may produce to make sure it is right for your needs. Thank you all. Take care.